If you're like me, your summer growing season is coming to an end, unfortunately. Today is October 15th, and it's actually my projected first frost date. But we're still doing good, and next week does look like we're going to dip into the 30s at night, like 36, 37, 38. Not freezing yet, but we're getting close. So I ran out there and I grabbed a bunch of tomatoes to show you the difference. Tomatoes, you have to go a little bit different about saving the seeds. They have a membrane around the seed, and you either have to ferment it, or I've seen people actually scrape it off with a sieve. I'll show you the way I do it. It's actually pretty simple, and I know a lot of people freak out when they hear fermented, and it's actually really easy. Okay, what you're gonna need, I use Tupperware dishes, but any kind of bowl is gonna work. And all we're gonna do is take the stem off, of course. Then we're going to cut. This one was already split, which was one of the reasons that I decided to use it. But all we're going to do is cut these in half. And if you take a look, of course, there's the gel inside. And all we're going to do is scrape out any of the seeds that we see in there. Now when you're doing this, you want to scrape out some of that gel, the gook that's inside there, into your bowl. You can see it down there. That's what's going to start the fermentation. So we're going to go through and we're going to cut all of these cherry tomatoes in half. It just makes it easier for me. And then I'm going to scrape all the stuff out. I'm going to give the rest of the tomato to my chickens. Alright, let's see if I can get a good one to show you here. When you're dealing with the seeds, there's a little gel pouch around them basically. And what you have to do is ferment them or scrape it off. Somehow it's there to protect the seed and get the seed through the winter so it'll sprout next season. I won't make you watch me do all of these. I'll go through and chop a bunch of these up and we'll be right back. And here's what I ended up with. Hopefully on here it shows you this is all just the stuff that was inside the tomato. I haven't added anything to it yet. But what I do is I add a little bit. Now I use bottled water just because my water has a high chlorine content. But I take a little bit of bottled water and just fill it in a little bit. You just want it up above that level. And then usually I go through, stir it all up. You can see all the seeds in there. It doesn't look like a lot when you look at the bowl, but there's a ton of seeds inside there. Stir it up real good. And then it's going to take probably 3 or 4 days. Some people say sooner. Today is the 15th, so we're talking about a Wednesday. I'm doing it now, so that way we can finish this video up this weekend, and I can show you what it does when it ferments. And we have a big bowl after I squeezed all the seeds out of the shells of the tomatoes that I can throw in the chicken salad tomorrow. And just so you can see, we didn't put a very big dent in that bowl of cherry tomatoes. So I like to just go set this bowl in a dark, cool place. We keep our house about 68 to 70 anyway, and that's fine. If it starts losing too much water and it starts getting too gelatinous, add a little bit of water to it, keep the level above the seeds, and we'll be back in a few days to show you what you can expect when you do this for yourself. Alright, it's Saturday afternoon, and I think we started these on Tuesday. I'd have to look, but if I remember right, I'm pretty sure it was Tuesday. So these tomato seeds have been fermenting for only 4 days, which is actually probably just a little bit long when you see them, but it's great for demonstration purposes. Take a look at that. So that was just a little bit of bottled water. And if you look, the top of it is completely covered with, I'm just going to call it the slime. I don't know what the actual term is for it. But that's what happens when you ferment. If you've ever done anything like kombucha or seen people do kombucha, it gets that thick, nasty layer on top. That's what happens when you're fermenting. And when you ferment it, it gets that gel sac off from around that tomato seed. Now all we're going to do is take a strainer, just make sure that the weave is tight enough that the seeds won't fall through, because tomato seeds are little. We're going to take it to the sink, we're going to remove that top layer, put the seeds in there, scrub them, and get them ready to dry. I am very aware that this is an awkward position looking down my sink like that. But I wanted to get nice and close so everybody can see exactly what happens, because many people, when I have mentioned fermenting, they start getting all antsy. You could just kind of see it, like almost like they're afraid of it. Don't be. It's really easy to do, and this isn't something that you have to worry about like a hot sauce, that you got to make sure everything's perfect. This is just getting that gel sac off the seed. So I just use warm water. That spray works the best. And all we're going to do is dump all of that right in the strainer. Now you can get down here too and just rub it around, make sure it scrapes on that strainer, and that'll get anything excess off. While on the topic of the strainer, I've seen quite a few people that have had success just putting the seeds straight in, running it underwater, scrubbing it back and forth with their hands, and getting the sack off that way. But this has been the most consistent way that I have seen yet. And I don't know why, but I've had really good luck with paper plates. I don't like paper towels. Everything sticks to them, and to me it just makes a mess. Again, I don't know why I've adopted this way, but it works for me. And all we're going to do is scrape all those seeds out onto the paper plate. And normally, yes, I would be using my hands, but it's a little easier to get around the camera with a butter knife. And then all we're going to do is just mash them down, spread them out so they dry a little bit easier, a little bit faster. And we're going to put them in a cool, dark place, cabinet, kitchen cabinet or a utility cabinet. You want to keep the temperature good. I like to keep mine at 68 to 70 degrees in the house. And look at all those seeds from just those little bit of cherry tomatoes. And I usually leave them in that dark place for two weeks-ish. You could go 3 weeks and then just package them up like you would any other seeds. You could even store them in a Ziploc. Just make sure you keep them in a dark spot. You don't want light penetrating and messing with those seeds before you're going to use them next year. All right, that's all it takes out there, chili peppers. I got a whole bunch more that I got to work through today. But I wanted to show you the quick, easy way to ferment your seeds, and your germination rates will be really high if you follow these simple steps. Remember, you don't have to be a prepper to be prepared, and I just showed you one more way to be prepared. We'll see you on the next one.